as you make your way to your seat, just looping band kind of handy and nearby. We're gonna use it a little on our arms and a little around our legs. So just have it nearby. Scoot your butt way back. Get everything into a nice organized position so you can just sort of soften and reduce a little effort for a second. And then just take a nice slow intentional breath in and a nice slow breath out. Give just a few more moments to allow your breath to come in a little bit slower, a little bit deeper. And for some of us, our mind body wants a little bit of a thing that they do when you're breathing. So for if you want that little thing that you do, sometimes a counted breath will do the trick. So you inhale for a count of 4 and exhale for a count of 6. And that can be like an easy thing to remember, something that starts you off with some good, slow, intentional breath. So you just inhale through your nose, count to 4, and then you slow your exhalation down a little bit and count to 6. Keep your breath going, keep that sort of semi-effortlessness going. And then you're just going to position your feet so they kind of come underneath your knees a little bit. So if they're splayed out or turned out or any of that such, bring your feet underneath your knees just a touch. And then we're going to move just the toes with the breath. So as you inhale, let's say you're going for that inhale count to 4, lift your toes up. And then as you exhale, slow as you can, lower your toes back down to the ground. And then once you got that going on, eyes closed so that you can really tune in and pay attention. Inhale, lift the toes, count to 4. Exhale, slow, lower your toes, count to 6. Right now it's going to be similar breath pattern, but you're going to go into that more toe ball of the foot lift. So you're going to lift your toes, lift the balls of the feet. That's your count to 4. And then you're going to exhale, slow your exhalation down and float your balls of the feet and the toes back down. So inhale up, count to 4. Exhale down, count to 6. And then once you've got that going on, you're going to see if you can take a second just to close your eyes down again so that you can tune into the pattern of breath. So we want that breath coming up, lift, count to 4, exhale, count to 6. Go for one more up and down. And then we're going to bring our body weight forward. So you're going to shift forward so that you come into that just sort of slack position. And then, but it puts a little bit of weight into your legs. And now lift your heels up away from the ground. There's your count to 4. And then as you exhale, slow, lower them back down. That's your count to 6. One more moment there. And then you're going to stay in that slight slack forward position, but now you're going to take your one hand is going to come over and find the other forearm. And you're going to think about that flat on the, think more towards the wrist portion versus towards the elbow portion. If you push around on that top surface of your forearm, there's a little part that feels maybe a little bit flatter than the rest. And you're going to push into the flat. And you could push and squeeze. You could put thumb underneath and just hold in a little bit of an intentional squeeze. And then you're just going to flex and extend the wrist. So just lift it up and down. that flat portion of the forearm just happens to have a nice little sheet of fascia right there. So we're just kind of gently conversating with the fascia, just giving it a little bit of an intentional squeeze or press, and then moving a lot of stuff within and underneath it. All right, take one more moment there, and then we're going to switch the work over to the other side. So look for the flat of your forearm, little press or a little squeeze. Go for the handhold that works good for you, and then move your wrist up and down. Lovely. Take one more moment there and then release. Give your fingers a little twinkle. Give your wrists a little shake, 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 shake. We're going to fold right down towards our toes. You're going to just make a little bit of space between your legs, lengthen the tube of your waist just a touch. Reach down toward your toes. Does not ever matter if you can touch your toes. We just reach towards them. And then once you've got that nice little folded position, puts a little bit of reduction of space in the front of the body, puts a bit more space into the back of the body. Now take a big breath like you're just trying to fill up your back of your rib cage, back of the shoulder blades, all the way down to your low back. Take one more breath. All right, now we're going to take our looping resistance band, and looping resistance band is going to come around our legs up over the bend of the knee. So you're just going to step your feet into your loop, and you're going to take a second to get it all worked out because you want to get in there, and then you want to work out all the little wrinkles. So get it nice and smoothed out. And then once you've got it nice and smoothed out, we're going to start by trying to just maintain this 2 fist width distance of space. So there's just that like little bit of resistance against the band. And then once you've got that little bit of resistance against the band, up into cat-cow. You're going to inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round your back, round your shoulders, tuck chin to chest. And the whole entire time, we're keeping that space between the knees. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round your back. And now you're going to go for that breath count. Inhale, count to 4, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. And then slow your exhalation down and round your back. Hi, Christine. Christine, we're working into a little seated cat-cow. If you have a resistance band, throw it on. If you don't have one, don't worry about it, but we're doing some chair yoga. So find your seated position, and then we're just taking it right into the spine. Inhale, we're counting to 4, lifting the chest, lifting the chin, and then exhale, round your back, round your shoulders, tuck chin to chest, and we're going to slow that count down just to a count of 6. So inhale, lift, count to 4. Exhale, round your back, count to 6. We're going to go for 2 more cycles of breath. All right, and then the next bit of work that we're going to do, we're going to roll out onto the feet. So everybody that's got the band on, cool, keep it there. But we're also going to maintain this 2 fist width distance of space. So Christine, make your hands into fists and then just put them between the space of your knees. And you're going to roll out onto the blade edge of your foot. And we're going to try to keep the knees from wobbling too much. So they're not going to roll out too much. They're not going to roll in too much. And the hands and the band are there to give you that sort of feedback. So you feel when your knees want to push out into the band. You'll feel when your knees want to push into your fists. You're just going to shoot for like finding that little bit of lift out to the blade edges of foot, but everything else is going to try to stay nice and steady, nice and stable. All right, take one more second there. And now we're going to go into some leg abductions. If you don't have a band on, you're going to put your hand to the side of your thigh. So your hand's going to create that little sense of resistance. So we're going to hop one leg out, hop it in, hop your other leg out, hop it in. So you're working with the resistance of the band or with the resistance of your hand, or maybe you're doing a little 2-for-1 special. So you're going to shoot for whatever shows up that's available. And we're just looking like to put a little bit of warmth into our thighs, into our hips. Nice upright spine. Take your time as you go. Excellent. Take one more time to each side. And then we're just going to kick that band off of our legs. So take a second, shoop it off, move it off to the side. And then once you've got that band off, take a little windshield wiper action just to notice that sort of now that freedom to move your legs, and it all feels like it's like, let go. All right. So then once you've kind of just swished it out just enough, go right into a seated twist. We're going to rotate to one side. Think nice, tall, upright spine. Light constriction of the breath when we're in twisted positions. There's a light constriction of breath when we're in back bend positions. So we use that little constriction as our feedback. And then you try to breathe as if you're trying to nudge any tight spaces. So think nice, big, low, deep breath down at the bottom of the rib cage so that the rib cage lifts, opens, and expands with your inhalation. And there's that soft, gentle recoil as you exhale nice and slow. All right, now we're going to stay in our twisted position, but think about that front shoulder, open shoulder, and you're just going to tip your ear towards that front shoulder and then stay there for a second. Take a nice big breath. Lift your head back up to that nice neutral position and then unwind your twist. Now we're going to go over to the other side. Twist to your other side. Get comfortable in your twist first. Think nice, tall, upright spine. A little bit of that constriction in the breath, and then we use that breath as feedback. So take a nice big low end of the rib cage, filling up breath. Beautiful. Okay, now front shoulder, drop your ear towards that front shoulder. Take another breath there. Lovely. Lift your head back up, slow return to center. One cat-cow just for that little soft reset for the spine. Inhale, lift your chest, lift your chin, arch your back. Exhale, round your back, round your shoulders, tuck chin to chest, and then come back up to a nice upright spine. Walk your feet out just a little bit wider for a good base of support, and then we're going to hold on to the side of the chair. One arm is going to go up, 3 tips, and then we're going to stay there. So you're going to lean over just a touch, come back up, lean over just a touch, come back up, lean over just a touch, come back up, and then this time we're going to go there, stay there, lean over, and now this time think inhale, pandiculation. So pandiculation being yawning, stiffening stretch. So we inhale and take a little extra space down to the hip all the way up to the fingertips, and then your exhale takes you into a little bit of softness, and then we're going to go a little bit round and reach. So you're going to flip your palm facing forward, round like you're reaching 45 degrees across the room, and then we pandiculate again. You're going to inhale and push through your palm, get a bunch of stretchy feeling space into that back of the rib cage. Take a nice big in-breath. Exhale, soften, and then come up and over to the other side. Hand's going to find the chair, arm's going to reach up, 3 side bends, and then we'll stay. Lift over to the side, come back up, tip over to the side, come back up, tip over to the side, come back up. Beautiful. And this time we're going to go there, stay there. So lean out, think root down into your sits bones, reach up through the fingertips, take a nice big breath. And then add that pandiculation. So we stiffen and stretch. Inhale, yawn and reach from your fingertips down to your hip. Exhale takes you into a little softness. And now we're going to go round and reach. You're going to flip your palm facing forward, reach out like you're reaching 45 degrees across the room, and then press through your palm. Get that inhale to stiffen and stretch. Exhale takes you into a little softness, release, and then walk your feet out just a little bit wider. Fold to the space between your legs. How far you fold, what feels good. Hands are going to look for the ground, but if not, your hands are going to stay resting on your tops of your thighs or your knees. You're going to shoot for the stretch that feels pretty good. Take a second there. Notice your breath. All right, and then come up nice and slow. Walk your feet back in. So we're in a seated mountain pose. So feet about hip width distance apart. Nice solid stance on the ground. Nice solid butt in the chair. Palms facing forward. And a little life and energy down from your shoulders all the way down to your fingertips. And then we're going to go one side, sun salutation to one side, one salutation to the other side. Slow version. And then we'll pick up the pace just a touch. Inhale, arms up and look up. Exhale, lift your chest, fold toward your feet. Does not matter if you can touch your feet. Inhale, halfway up. We make a little bit of space for ourselves. Now take right hand to the left knee. Left hand reaches behind you for a twist. Bring that hand back in nice and slow. Catch hold of your knee. Bring your knee towards your chest. Bring your nose towards your knee. Keep your knee toward your chest. Flex your foot, lift your chest, lift your chin. Release your foot, release your chin, float that leg down to the ground, right back to your mountain pose. Beautiful. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold towards your feet. Inhale, halfway up, make a little space for yourself. Left hand to the right knee, right hand reaches behind you, look to that back hand. Take a second, take a breath. All right, now bring that hand back in, catch hold of your knee, bring your knee towards your chest, bring your nose towards your knee. Flex your foot, lift your chest, lift your chin. Release your foot, release your chin, float right back to your mountain pose. And now we're gonna go just a touch faster. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold towards your feet. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, soften just a little bit. Right hand to the left knee, left hand reaches behind to a twist. Look to that back hand, take a second there, and then bring that hand back in. Catch hold of your knee. Bring your knee towards your chest, bring your nose towards your knee. Flex your foot, lift your chest, lift your chin. Release your foot, release your chin, set it down, come right back into your mountain pose. Inhale, arms up, look up. Exhale, fold towards your feet. Inhale, halfway up, make some space for yourself. Left hand to the right knee, right hand reaches back for a twist. Look to that back hand, take a breath. Bring that hand back in, catch hold of your knee, bring your knee towards your chest, bring nose towards the knee. Flex your foot, lift your chest, lift your chin. Release your foot, release your chin. Set your feet down, twinkle your fingers, give them a good twinkle, twinkle, and twinkle your toes. So we're gonna come up to standing position. We're gonna work from the tall side of our chair to do a little bit of work. So take your time, unceremoniously come up and then reset your chair in a way that makes good sense so that you can comfortably hold on to the tall side of the chair and it's not gonna like slip out from underneath you. And then once you've got your chair in a tall setting, you're gonna go light touch to the chair, feet about hip width distance apart, toes and knees pointing relatively facing forward. Once you've got your way there, you're gonna start by looking down at your toes. So you're gonna take a little glance-a-rooney at your feet, lift the arches up just a touch so you kind of roll slightly onto the blade edges, and then get as much of a toe spread on the ground as you can find. And then once you feel like there's a little bit of a toe spread on the ground, lift your gaze back up, eyes forward on the horizon. And now we're going to do 3 heel lifts, but go for the range of motion that feels safe and comfortable. Lift your heels comfortably away from the ground. Float them down nice and slow and controlled. Lift your heels comfortably away from the ground. Float them down nice and slow. One more just like that. Lift up. Lower down. All right, now we're going to walk back to a down dog. So hands are going to stay connected to the chair. You're going to walk your feet back, walk your butt back, come into that little tipped sideways, upside down V. And then once you've got that, put a little touch of bend in the knees so we're not stressing out too much. We don't want to feel like the insertion of the hamstrings zings us in our butt. So if you have tight hamstrings, good bend in the knees will go a long way. And then once you've got your way there, gaze down at the ground, soften into your upper back, take a nice big breath. One more breath here, and then when you're ready, bend your knees a lot. Look forward, walk your feet up. We're gonna go into a lunging position. So left foot's gonna stay forward, right foot's gonna step back, and then you're gonna shoot for the comfortable lunge that feels sturdy and strong, but you can get that back heel into a little bit of a lift. So we want that little bit of a lifted position. And then once you feel like you found it, think about that back hip and just kind of put that back hip bone facing forward. Lift your chest just a touch. One hand is going to stay connected to the chair, and let's say the bent knee, that's the arm that's going to go up. You're going to lift your arm, lift your chest just a little bit, lift your gaze, hang there for a second, take a nice big breath. Bring that hand back down, and now you're going to keep this nice upright spine and add a little rotation. So you're still keeping that hand connected to the chair. You're going to reach your hand behind you, look to that back hand, take a breath. And then come back in nice and slow and controlled. Little bounce to that back leg. We're going to hop it forward and then we're going to switch sides. So give it a little bounce, push off, come forward, switch sides, get your other foot back. Find that lunge where the heel can be a little bit lifted, and then think hip points facing forward, eyes on the horizon. Take a nice big breath. Front knee, bent knee, lift that arm up towards the sky. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. Release that little gentle back bend, float that hand down, and now we're going to go into a twist. So take that hand, reach it back, look to that hand and take another moment there. Lovely. Bring it all back in nice and slow and controlled. Get a little bounce in that back leg, hop it forward, and now we're walking back to our down dog one last time. So walk it back, walk it back, walk it back. And then once you've got your way there, we're going to do the little hip hike. So I want you to think about the back pockets of your jeans as if you're trying to reach your right pocket back and then your left pocket back. So what we're shooting for is that idea of that C-spine. So we're hugging hip to shoulder in the squeezed in position, and then the other side of the hip gets a little bit of length, or the other side of your waist gets a little bit of length. Excellent. Take one more moment there. And then when you're ready, slowly walk it back up. We're going to go up into a tippy toe position. So you're going to go first things first, find your fingertips to the chair, get that feeling of connection to the space that you're working in. Lift your heels up away from the ground. You're going to hold your heels in a lifted position if you can. You're going to free up one hand from the chair. You're going to notice. You're going to lift your other hand up away from the chair if it feels stable. Take a moment and notice. And then when you feel ready for it, hands return to the chair, float your heels back down nice and slow and controlled, give everything a little shake and a little wiggle, and now we're working our way right back to our seat. So spin your chair around or spin yourself around in a way that makes good sense. And then once you've got your way there, we're going to go prayer hands together with a little bit of an intention. So we want to shoot for elbows roughly staying in line with the shoulder, a nice good extension in the wrist, and then feels like a little bit of walk like an Egyptian, right? But you are going to push those prayer hands from side to side. And you want to try to keep as if you're creating your own little resistance. So one hand is going to create resistance and one hand is going to push. And then once you've got that going on, since it's slightly going across your visual cortex, you're going to see if you can fix your eyes on something steady. So as your hands move from side to side, your head stays steady, your eyeballs stay fixed on something in front of you. Go for one more little pull from side to side. And now we're going to interlace the fingers. And I want you to think of those little finger traps. So the more you pull, the tighter it gets. So interlace your fingers and then squeeze them together and start to pull. And you want to, if you had like lotion on your hands, you're just going to have to do the best you can. But you want to feel like as you pull, the squeeze of your fingers gets tighter, gets tighter, gets tighter. Hold steady for just a moment. And then as we release, we're going to start to walk our feet out just a little bit wider so that we can go into a little side angle. So you're going to walk your legs out nice and wide. Get that last little tug and pull, and then release. Now go elbow to the knee. Think rib cage lifts away from the thigh. Upper arm reaches up and over, so we get that nice big lateral stretch. Now top hand, pinky finger rolls down. Turn your head, look down towards the ground. Take a big breath. All right, roll pinky finger up, look up towards the sky. Now you're going to use really nice control in your side body. You're going to lift your elbow first. So you're in good control and you're going to lift all the way up and over. Elbow's going to find the knee. Rib cage is going to lift away from the thigh. Top hand's going to reach up and over. Then that top hand, pinky finger is going to roll down. Turn your head, look down. Take a nice big breath. Beautiful. Lift your elbow up. Oops, put your elbow back down. My bad. Flip your palm, turn your head, look up towards the sky. Now release that little turn of the head, lift your elbow up. Good side body control. Lift yourself all the way back up. Walk your feet in nice and slow. Come back to your windshield wipers. Make sure everything feels good. And now we're going to pivot around into your chair, get into a little side saddle position, and then you're going to scoot your butt forward. So we want one cheek on the chair and one cheek off of the chair. And then you're going to drop that leg down into a little 90-90 lunge. Hand's going to find the hip, chair behind you for security. Once you've got a nice comfortable seat, we're into that hip hike. So you're going to pop the hip up, squeeze in at the side body, and then drop the hip down, or reach your knee towards the ground. So we want to feel like a little bit of work happens right in the side of the tube of the waist. So hiking the hip up and down, get a little bit of movement going on. Nice. Now we're going to go for that little forward and back. So you're going to level up your hips roughly so, and then you're going to think pocket of the jeans back, pocket of the jeans forward. And you kind of want to feel like the cheek that's on the chair is just twisting with you. So you get a little swivelly movement in that rotational work, but that front leg doesn't do too much movement. So it's mostly coming out of the hip socket. All right, take one more moment there. And now we're going to go big drop of the hip, big side bend. So you're going to let that hip drop down. You're going to reach your arm up and over. Think nice big side bend. And then you're going to come in big squeeze. You're going to hug that elbow in and squeeze like you're trying to pick your hip up towards the elbow. Do it again. Drop the hip down, reach up and over, get that nice big side bend, and then come in for that big squeeze. One more just like that. Reach up and over. Come in, get that big squeeze. And then drop the hip down, reach up and over, stay there just a little bit longer, take a nice big breath. Lift up out of the side bend, slight rotation, rotate towards the back of the chair, take a breath. Unwind your twist, swivel everything around, take a second to find your way to that 90-90 lunge on the other side. So we get into a little bit of a lunge position. One cheek is on the chair, one cheek comes off, and then we drop that knee down so that we find that a good intentional lunging position. Once you've got your way there, hand to the hip dip first, hip dip first. Drop the hip down, squeeze it up. And you want to just start to feel like you're working into the side of the waist. So sometimes the way that I like to see if it's showing up is I put my fingers into the softer tissue, not on the bone itself. And then you should feel around your thumb and around your fingers as you hike that hip up, especially around that backside thumb. You should feel that QL muscle getting a little bit of squeeze, a little bit of release. All right, one more up and down, and then pockets forward and back. So we line up the hips so they're roughly straight. And then we move that front pocket of the jean forward and back. Awesome. One more movement forward and back, and then go big hip dip with the side bend. So you're going to drop the hip down, reach up and over the side of the chair, and then hug it in. We get that little squeeze. Elbow comes in like you're trying to really squeeze in the elbow to the hip, and then reach the hip down. Arm reaches up and over. Bring it in, get that little squeeze. One more time, reaching up and over. Bring it in, get that little squeeze, and then release the squeeze, drop the hip into a line, and then rotate towards the back of the chair, take a breath. Nice. Slow unwind, slowly, mindfully, bring it back into center, give it a little swivel, give it a little all windshield wiper action. We're going to walk the legs forward a little bit, and the toes are in that slight lifted position. So when we go there, big bend in the knees, because it's not about stressing out the backs of the legs. Walk your legs forward, flex the feet, and then start with the halfway hinge. So just bringing your chest forward so you feel that nice, good hinge maneuver. Once you feel like you found that good hinge maneuver, then go a little bit further if it feels available. Hang out there for a second. When we're in this folded position, we do want that little feeling of constriction. So you want to feel like your belly and your thighs are kind of meeting and getting a little bit of little connection. And then you want to take a big breath as if you're trying to breathe past that abdominal canister down into the bowl of your pelvis. So take a nice big breath as if you're trying to bring breath down into the back pocket of your jeans. Two more cycles of breath. All All right, and then when you're ready, slowly, 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 slowly walk yourself all the way back up. Now we're going to do a little basket weave. So you're going to basket weave, hold on to the back of your thigh, pick your thigh up, but then let your thigh be as heavy into your arms as you can. So it's your arms that are doing the heavy lifting. Now your arms are going to take your thigh bone and just draw it in a couple of circles. Circle in one direction. Circle it the other way. Beautiful. Okay, now a little nerve flossing. So you're going to kick the foot forward. You're going to kick. You're going to lift your chin, flex your foot, and then you're going to float it back down. And it's not about like big crazy stretch. It's about finding that end of tension and then moving right away from it and softening. So you're going to kick your foot forward, flex your foot, lift your chin, find that end of tension, and then slowly release, bend, and bring it back down. Lift your foot, flex your foot, lift your chin. Float it all down nice and slow. One more time. Lift your foot, flex your foot, lift your chin. Float it down nice and slow. Send that leg out nice and long and as straight as it can comfortably go with a flex in the foot. Now take your arm, go big up and over, and you're going to exhale, reach toward your foot. Touch your foot if you can. Don't worry if you can't. And look for a little feeling of positive stress into the back of your leg. Excellent. And then when you're ready, slowly come up and in, and we're going to take all that work to the other side. Basket weave your leg, pick it up. Let your arm do the work. Draw that thigh in circles, go in one direction. Draw your thigh in circles, go the other way. All right, now we've flossed the hamstrings, so bring it up a little bit closer to your chest. Kick your foot up, flex your foot, lift your chin. Look for that end range of tension and then float it back down, tuck your chin slightly. Lift your foot, flex your foot, lift your chin. Lower your foot, lower your chin. Lift your foot, flex your foot, lift your chin. Lower your foot, lower your chin, and then send that leg out nice and long, as straight as it feels comfortable going. And then the other arm goes up, think up and over, reach toward your foot, touch it if you can. Look for that little feeling of positive stress into the back of your leg. Hang out there for a second, take a breath. Nice. And then when you're ready, come back up and in nice and slow. You're going to catch hold of one knee. You're going to catch hold of the heel. You're going to externally rotate the leg and rock it a little bit side to side. Now we're going to move it into a figure four stretch. Now for some bodies, figure four across the thigh doesn't feel accessible, and it certainly doesn't feel good or available. So for some of us, it's a low crisscross at the ankles. We still get that leg and external rotation. We still hinge forward. We get that little stretch into the glutes. But for some of us, that just feels like the nicer way to go. So position yourself in a way that always will make good sense so you can breathe comfortably while you're doing it, and then after you come out of it. Bring it into a figure four that feels good, either across the thigh or across the ankle. Go for the one that feels nice. And then I want you to think nice upright spine, hip hinge, bring your chest towards your shin. How far it goes, everybody will feel a little bit different. We look for a feeling of stretch into the glutes or the side of your hip. So nice into the deep glute muscles or into the side edge of your hip. Notice what shows up, and then see if you can just take a second there to take a breath. Bring your heart away from your shin, come up nice and slow, rotate your heart just slightly towards your bent knee, and then give that knee just a little wiggle in and out. And then once you've wiggled it in and out just enough, help lift everything up and off. Take a second, little windshield wiper action. And sometimes it's nice to just kind of notice how one side might feel a little different from the other. Once you feel like, oh, that side's nice and warm and gummy, and that side still feels a little cool, grab the other knee, grab the other heel, get it into an external rotation, and rock the leg a little side to side. One side might always behave a little different from the other. So sometimes it's high, sometimes it's low. You're going to go where it feels good. Right, when you feel ready for it, find your figure four on this side, whether it's across the top of the thigh or across the ankles. Go for the one that feels really comfortable. Take a second to find it, and then nice upright spine. Lean your heart forward towards your shin. When you're ready, come up nice and slow. Take a second to lift your heart away from your shin. Rotate your heart slightly towards your knee. Move your knee a little bit in and out. Awesome. And then when you're ready, slow release, lift that leg up and off, help it come out. Give a little windshield wiper action. All right, now we're going to interlace the fingers. You're going to bring elbows and forearms together. You're going to go into that nice bent elbow 90-degree position. And as you keep your elbows and forearms together and your fingers are interlaced, you're rolling your wrists in circles. You're going to go in one direction. Go the other way. You're going to release the interlace the fingers so that the prayer hands are together, and you're going to move it up and down just a touch. Everybody's range of motion here, especially in that closed in position, is going to feel just slightly different. All right, one more up and down, and then you're going to open the elbows, interlace the fingers, flip your palms, press them forward, drive those shoulders down just a touch, tuck your chin down towards your chest, take a big breath. Lift your head back up to a comfortable position, release your arms, give your fingers a little twinkle, and then scoot your butt back in your chair. And you're just going to come back into a nice resting position with a nice reduction of effort. So sit your butt back, get your back connected to the back of the chair, let your eyes close down for a second, let your legs reduce effort. Let your jaw soften. Let your cheekbones soften, let your temples soften, let the space between your eyebrows soften. When we come towards the end of our practice and we come into this stillness, the body is quick and it responds really well to stimulus, but the mind takes a little bit of time to catch up. So we take these last moments of stillness to let the mind have that little bit of time to catch up with all the work that your body has done. So we allow our breath to be slow. We reduce incoming sensation. We reduce as much effort coming out of the body as we can. And then just for a moment before you open your eyes and come back to life, feel the solid surface of the floor beneath your feet. Feel the nice solidness of your chair coming up to meet you and support you. Take a moment just to listen in to all the sounds around you, the sounds of your room, the sounds of my voice, maybe the sounds in the outside world just beyond you. And then when you're ready, start to wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Start to move your wrists and move your ankles, and we look for that slower, deeper breath to return to our body. And then once you feel a little bit more alive, flutter your eyes open, stretch your legs out long, stretch your arms up and overhead, and then big good morning stretch from your fingers to your toes. Spread your fingers, point your toes, take that big yawn and reach. And then exhale, let a little softness come in. Sit up nice and tall and go prayer hands and Anjali Mudra. Gently bow your head to your heart. Take a nice big breath of love and gratitude towards yourself, for your mind, for your body, for all of your hard work. And then one last soft exhale to let go. Let go of anything you're holding on to that won't serve you for the next 3 minutes of your morning. And then when you're ready, gently lift up through the top of your head, gently open your eyes. I bow to you. You guys are amazing. Christine made it to class. I'm so excited.